If you're looking for a super easy-to-use text-to-speech TTS software, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll show you a really simple way to get TTS up and running, and I'll also cover a more advanced method for those who want even more options. The possibilities are endless. Unfortunately, the free and easy method does have its limits. There are only 9 voices to choose from. But if you want high-quality voices like this one,
your bravery is admirable, but sometimes bravery is knowing when to retreat.
Or this voice.
You know, it's funny how we spend so much time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at me right now. I came here thinking I'd find clarity among the rustling leaves and chirping birds.
Then you are at the right place. I hope you enjoy the video and learn something. While there are Chrome extensions that enable voice interactions with ChatGPT, they primarily facilitate voice input and output using preset voices. These tools do not offer personalized voice cloning capabilities. Here's how you can set up voice interactions with ChatGPT using a Chrome extension. How to interact with ChatGPT using voice via a Chrome extension. Step 1. Install a voice interaction Chrome extension. Open Google Chrome. 2. Navigate to the Chrome Web Store. As you are searching for the right extension, look in the search bar for Audio TTS. Click Add to Chrome and confirm the installation. This program allows ChatGPT, when reading text aloud, to record it directly to your downloads. To be sure, always pin the extension for it to work properly. Please note that these extensions enhance interaction with ChatGPT through voice, but do not clone or replicate your unique voice. For personalized voice cloning, dedicated platforms like 11 Labs offer such services, though they may not be entirely free. Well, here is the result. When you watch the whole video, you'll learn how to use AI voice cloning. Well, this concludes the free and easy method. Now, for the advanced method, I use the whole information and video from the YouTuber #AI Search. Please, if you find the following content useful, like and subscribe to his channel. This information blew my mind. It's just too good. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description of this video.
This is the best text-to-speech voice cloner I've used yet. You can control emotions for the voice.
What if no one likes it? What if all this effort was for nothing? After countless late nights, I'm exhausted, but I know it's worth it to chase my dreams.
You can easily generate an audiobook or podcast with it.
I totally get that, Anna. It's scary to think about missing out on experiences.
Right? And honestly, I'm just tired of feeling this way. Let's dive into today's topic and shake off those blues.
And you only need a few seconds of a reference voice. Best of all, it's free and open source, so in this video I'm going to show you how to use it and how to install it locally on your computer. So first of all, this tool is called F5 TTS, and this is based on the diffusion transformer architecture, which is also the backbone behind all the best image and video generators out there right now. And so it turns out that this diffusion transformer architecture also works well with text-to-speech and voice cloning. So here are some examples. First of all, the impressive thing is you only need a few seconds of a person's voice. So for example, here is the reference audio. It's only 5 seconds. Let me play this for you.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature.
So with just 5 seconds of audio, if you get it to read out this script, here's what you get.
I don't really care what you call me. I've been a silent spectator, watching species evolve, empires rise and fall. But always remember, I am mighty and enduring. Respect me, and I'll nurture you. Ignore me, and you shall face the consequences.
And it even works well with Chinese. So here's the same voice, but reading a Chinese script.
顿时，气氛变得沉郁起来。乍看之下，一切的困扰仿佛都围绕在我身边。我皱着眉头，感受着那份压力，但我知道我不能放弃，不能认输。于是，我深吸一口气，心底的声音告诉我，无论如何都要冷静下来，重新开始。
Pretty cool. So here's another example. Here is the reference audio. This is the original voice.
Are you familiar with it? Slice the steak and place the strips on top. Then garnish with the dried cranberries, pine nuts, and blue cheese.
All right, a pretty dramatic voice. So that's 9 seconds of reference. And if you get the same voice to read this script, here is what you get.
Perhaps they are driven by the delicious blend of flavors, or it could be the appealing visual presentation. At the end of the day, our choices in food reflect our personal preferences and sometimes even our lifestyle or belief system.
So you can see, or hear I should say, that it matches the tone and expressiveness of the original voice very well. And again, here's a Chinese example with the same voice.
我抬起头，坚定地说，身高不能决定一切。这世界在看我，我更看得到世界。无论是北上广或是别的什么，我都将以我自己的方式去攀爬，去追逐。
So again, even though it's in a different language, it still matches the tone and expressiveness of the original voice. Very impressive. Here is an example of a female, so let me play you the original voice first. This is 14 seconds long.
You don't know how much trouble you've gotten yourself into. Look, if one of the others get to you first, they'll report you. Alpha Grant has a search out. And if they see you on human territory, they'll be shunned.
Alright, a very scared and panicky voice. Now, if you get it to read this text, let's see what we get.
Your safety and the pack's reputation are at stake. Your bravery is admirable, but sometimes bravery is knowing when to retreat. Please consider returning with me. We can work out a plan, but only if you're willing to listen.
And again, you can hear it preserves that scared and panicky voice. And there's more you can do with this, so you can also mix in different languages in the same sentence. So let me play you the original voice first.
皇上请三思，皇后娘娘都是为了万岁爷着想。
Wow, it sounds like a very dramatic evil witch. Anyways, if you get it to read this, there's a mix of Chinese and some English words. Let's see what we get.
你昨天的 performance 真是 outstanding， 完全展示了你的 skills。
Very, very interesting. And you can also control the speed. So here's the original voice.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature.
And then here's the text it will read out, but instead of just 1x speed, you can specify like 0.7x speed. Let's hear what that sounds like.
I don't really care what you call me. I've been a silent spectator, watching species evolve, empires rise and fall. But always remember, I am mighty and enduring. Respect me, and I'll nurture you. Ignore me, and you shall face the consequences.
Alright, so overall pretty good except for this part here where it kind of ignored the semicolon and there wasn't a pause here. Anyways, let's play this at 1.3x speed now and hear what that sounds like.
I don't really care what you call me. I've been a silent spectator, watching species evolve, empires rise and fall. But always remember, I am mighty and enduring. Respect me, and I'll nurture you. Ignore me, and you shall face the consequences.
So it indeed reads this at a faster pace. Again, it kind of ignores the pause after the semicolon here. The semicolon is probably throwing it off, but other than that, this sounds pretty good. And there's more you can do with this, and this is like the most impressive feature about F5TTS. So you can upload different clips of the same voice, but with different emotions, and then you can get it to output this text in that emotion. So for example, let me play you the reference, the original clip first. So this is her happy sound.
Kids are talking by the door.
So let's hear how this sounds like in a happy tone.
I was like talking to my friend and she's all excited about her trip to Europe. And I'm just like so jealous, right?
All right, so you can hear it does kind of have that happy tone in there. And then here's her sad voice.
Kids are talking by the door.
And notice this sample is only 2 seconds long, but it's still able to clone her voice and get it to speak this sentence, which is pretty impressive. All right, anyways, let's hear the sad version of this now.
Like talking to my friend and she's all excited about her trip to Europe and I'm just like so jealous, right?
not bad. And then finally, here we have a fearful voice. Here's the original voice.
Kids are talking by the door.
All right, and then here is that voice reading this text.
I was like talking to my friend, and she's all excited about her trip to Europe, and I'm just like so jealous, right?
And you can hear it does preserve that higher pitch, slightly frightened voice from this original clip. So a very powerful tool. Finally, this is also shown to do well with hard sentences, like these ones, which let me try to read this. Active artists always appreciate artistic achievements and applaud awesome artworks. Oh my goodness, what a mouthful. So let's play this original voice.
You need not think to keep out of the way of him.
So just 3 seconds of audio, and let's hear the output of this voice reading this script.
Active artists always appreciate artistic achievements and applaud awesome artworks.
Pretty good. Now let's hear another example.
After which, in his preoccupied way, he explained,
Here is the hard sentence she needs to read out. Let's see if she can pull it off.
Brave bakers boldly baked big batches of brownies in beautiful bakeries.
There you go. Very good. And then just one last example. Let me play this one for you.
Became more deliberate and watchful.
All right, and here's the output.
Daring dancers dazzled during dynamic dance displays, drawing delighted crowds.
So overall, not bad, but enough demos. Let's actually jump in and try this out. Now, I'll link to both this demo page and their GitHub page in the description below, and they actually have a few places for you to try this out. So currently, I believe this works with a CUDA GPU. You need at least 8 gigabytes of VRAM. If you don't have that, you can always use these online spaces. So for example, here is a Hugging Face space, which allows you to do the same thing as the local version. Now for this video, I'm also going to show you how to install this locally. So actually, let's do that right now in order to set up this interface on our computer. By the way, I'm using a Dell Precision 5690. You can integrate a powerful RTX 5000 Ada into this. So this is a perfect compact combo for running AI tools locally. Huge thanks to Dell and Nvidia for sponsoring this. Alright, here is how you install this and run it locally. So, if you go to their GitHub page, which I'll link to in the description below, in the middle of the page, it gives you all the instructions to install this. Now, first of all, we need to git clone the repository, and in order to do that, you do need to have Git installed on your computer. And here is how you install Git. If you already have Git installed, feel free to skip to the next section. So, all we gotta do is download the latest release for whatever operating system you're using. So, I'm using Windows, so I'm just gonna click on download for Windows. I'm running 64-bit, so I'm going to click on this to download, and it's now downloading this exe file. So once that's completed, all we got to do is open that exe file and then follow the steps. So I'm going to click on next. I'm just going to go with the default install location, which is program files/git. So I'll click next for that, and then I'm just going to leave this at the default. And then I'm going to click next again and click next here. We're just going to use the default settings for all of these. There's a lot of settings that you need to go through, so I'm just going to click next for all of these. Alright, and then it should go ahead and install all the files, so this might take a few minutes. Perfect, so now we have Git installed. Alright, so assuming you have Git installed on your computer, first of all, go to whichever location you want to have this installed. For me, I'm going to install it on my desktop, so I'm going to go to desktop, and then at the top bar here, type in cmd. And this will open up command prompt with the current folder as desktop. So let's open this back up. I'm going to copy this first line, and then paste it in here. Perfect. So this is basically cloning this repository into a folder on my desktop. So if you open up my desktop again, you can see that now I have this F5 TTS folder, and if I open that, you can see that it basically cloned all the files that we see in this repository. All right, so next step is we need to change the directory to this folder, because right now we are still in desktop. So we need to go one folder in and go to this new folder that I just created, F5TTS. All right, so right now we are in this F5TTS folder, which again should look like this. All right, now next step before we run these lines of code is we should create a virtual environment. So this is basically an environment that contains all the packages and dependencies that this tool uses, and it's a separate environment from all the other tools that you're currently using on your computer. And this is important because this tool might use some packages and dependencies that are different versions and might conflict with other tools on your computer. So you want to create a separate virtual environment and install everything there. Now, to create this separate virtual environment, you need to use Anaconda. If you don't have Anaconda installed, here's how to do it. If you have it already, feel free to skip to the next section. Now, I'm just on anaconda.com, and actually what I'm going to do is install Miniconda. This is a minimalist version of Anaconda. If you install the full Anaconda, it installs a lot of packages and dependencies that you might not need. This just takes up more room on your computer, and of course the installation time is a bit longer. But with Miniconda, it's just a bare bones package, and you can always install additional packages and dependencies afterwards. So I'm going to click on latest Miniconda installer links by Python version, and I'm using Windows, so I'm going to install one of these. Now, for free and open source AI tools, usually they do not support Python 3.12, so it's better to install the Python 3.11 version. So I'm going to click on this, which should download an exe file to your computer. Once it's finished downloading, simply double-click on this and then follow the steps to complete the installation. So I'm going to click Next, and then agree, and then let's set this to all users. I'm going to go with the default destination folder, and then I'm going to check this as well, clear the package cache upon completion. This just gives you back some more disk space without affecting functionality. Alright, once that's completed, let's click Next, and then we are finished. Now, we aren't done yet, so if you open up the command prompt and you type in conda -- version, you're still going to see that Conda is not recognized. This is because we haven't added Anaconda to our path yet. So let's exit out of this, and then to add it to our path, we simply search for this function, edit the system environment variables. We're going to click on this, and then click on environment variables, and then click on the one that says path, and then click edit. And here's where you add in the path of Anaconda. So it depends where you installed Anaconda. For me, I installed it in program data, so it's going to be in program data /miniconda. And then if I double click on scripts, you can see that conda is here. So this is the folder we want to paste in. So I'm going to right click on this and then copy as path. And then back in the environment variables window, I'm going to click new and then paste in the path here, and then click OK, and then OK, and then OK again. Now, if you open up command prompt again and type in conda -- version, you should see that we are running 24.5.0. So this shows that we have successfully installed Anaconda. Alright, so assuming you have Anaconda installed, once you're in this F5TTS folder, let's again type in cmd to open up command prompt within this folder. And then we are going to type in conda create -n, which is telling it to create a new environment. Let's call this F5. And then for Python, let's set it to version 3.10, which is what it specifies here. Like, I'm not sure if it works for later versions of Python, like 3.11 or 3.12. So just to be safe, we should always go with whatever Python version they specified on their GitHub. So in our case, we are going to type in 3.10 and then click enter. And then now it's going to go ahead and create this virtual environment based on Python 3.10. I'm going to press enter to proceed, and this is going to take a while to install everything. So once that's done, you should see these two lines, and now we need to activate the environment before proceeding further. So let's type in conda activate and whatever we named our environment. In our case, it's F5. And you can see that the environment is activated because it has the environment name in parentheses before every line. All right, so the next step is to install Torch and Torch Audio based on your CUDA version. This is very important. And so, yes, you do need to have a CUDA GPU for this, at least at the time of this recording. And in order to check your CUDA version, let's open up command prompt, and then we simply type in nvcc -- version, and you can see that we are running CUDA 11.8. So let me exit out of this, and this is what this CU118 stands for at the end of this URL. So if you're not using 11.8, if you're using 12.1, then this 118 that you see here and here should be changed to 121. But anyways, we are using CUDA 11.8, so I'm just going to copy both these lines and then paste them all in here. So the first line is installing Torch, which is 2.7 gigabytes, so this is going to take a while. I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's done. Alright, so right now it has successfully finished installing Torch. Next we need to install Torch Audio, which is basically the second line we pasted in. I just need to press enter here. And perfect, we have successfully installed both Torch and Torch Audio. Now the next step is to install all the requirements in requirements.txt, which is listed in this file. So it needs to install all these dependencies. So I'm going to go back here and copy this line and then paste it in here. Again, because there is a long list of dependencies, this might take a while depending on the speed of your internet connection. Alright, if all goes well, you should see all of this with no errors. And that signifies that you have installed all of the requirements. Now, let's go ahead and actually run this interface. So, let's copy this line of code and then paste it in here. And if this is your first time running this Gradio interface, it's going to download some additional models. So for example, this model.safetensors file is around 1.6 gigabytes. So again, it's going to take a while to download. All right, and if all goes well, you should see this link. So I believe you need to hold down Control and click on this link. It would open up this in your browser. Now this is completely offline. Even though this opens in your browser, this is just a Gradio interface and you don't need to have internet to run this. And that's basically how you install this and get it up and running. Thanks to Wondershare Filmora for sponsoring this video. Filmora is a video editor loaded with AI features, and I personally use Filmora for all my YouTube videos. They've just released version 14, and it's filled with AI superpowers. The AI Copilot editing feature allows you to edit a video just by talking to it like a chatbot. They also have a smart short clip feature, which automatically converts your long-form videos into short clips for social media. Plus, they have an AI audio enhancer, which uses AI to turn your audio into studio quality with just a click of a button.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
They also have a new AI sound effect feature where you can create any sound effect you want with just a single prompt. You can also use AI to remove vocals and denoise audio with ease. They also have speech-to-text, so you can easily create subtitles, as well as text-to-speech for easily making voiceovers. They also have AI Smart Masking and AI Smart Cutout, and this allows you to remove objects or change the background of your video in seconds. Publishing is also made easy, so you can make thumbnails in seconds with their AI Thumbnail Creator, plus easily create titles and captions with their AI copywriting feature. Edit videos like a pro and save a ton of time with Wondershare Filmora 14. Try it out for free via the link in the description below. Now, once you have it up and running, all you need to do is upload an audio file to use as a reference voice. I'm going to upload a sample clip. So let me just play this for you.
This indie film festival looks fascinating. Shall we go and broaden our cinematic horizons?
Let's type in some sample text, like, "Hi there," and if you click synthesize, this is probably not going to work yet. So you can see we got an error here, and if you open up command prompt, it says FFmpeg was not found. This means that we don't have FFmpeg installed on our computer yet. So now I'm going to show you how to install FFmpeg from scratch. So you'll need to go to this page called gyan.dev. The colors are very strange for this page. It seems to be very desaturated. But anyways, on this page, click on FFmpeg get full, and you can install this wherever you want. And then let's select this folder and extract this to our C drive. I'm going to press OK. And then exit out of this. So right now on our C drive, you should see this FFmpeg folder. And if you open it, it should contain these files. Anyways, let's go back one folder and let's rename this to just ffmpeg so that it has a shorter name. And then the next step is we need to add this to our environment variable. All right, so in your Windows search bar, you would search for edit the system environment variables. Let's open this and then let's click on environment variables. And then in the system variables, scroll down until you find path and then you click on path and then click edit and then click new. After you've done that, let's open up this ffmpeg and then for this bin folder, we're going to copy this path. So I'm going to right click and then click copy as path. And then back over here, let's click new and then paste in the path, but without the quotation marks, and then press OK. So again, press new and then paste in the path to your ffmpeg/bin folder. And then once you're done that, click OK to exit out of this and then OK again. And to verify that you have this installed, if you open up a new command prompt and you type in ffmpeg-version, you should see this, which signifies that it is added to your environment variable. All right, finally, going back to Gradio, let's actually exit out of this first. We'll need to restart this afterwards. Now, going back to our F5TTS folder, and then again at the top, type in cmd to open up your command prompt. And then first of all, we are going to type in conda activates and then F5, which is what we named our virtual environment. So after that is done, let's type in again pip install ffmpeg to install ffmpeg. All right, so after that is finished installing, I believe we also need to install ffmpeg-python. All right, so after it has finished installing this, we should be all good to go now. So we got to start everything again. And in order to do that, we simply open up our F5TTS folder. And then at the top here, let's type in cmd, which will again open up command prompt within our selected folder. So the first thing we need to do again is use conda to activate the virtual environment, which we named F5. So let's press enter, and you can see now that all lines start with F5 in parentheses, which means we are now in this virtual environment. And then the next step is to basically open up the Gradio interface. So we need to use Python to open this file, gradio_app.py. So I'm going to type in gradio_app.py. And since we've already installed all the models the first time we ran this code, this time it's going to take a lot faster. All right, perfect. So I'm going to hold Control and click on this link to open up the Gradio interface. Now let's drop in an audio here. Note that the audio you drop in should be less than 15 seconds. And ideally it should be in WAV format. You can try MP3, I just prefer using it in WAV format, which is better quality. And then if your reference audio is over 15 seconds, it's actually going to automatically cut it to 15 seconds anyways. And this is actually pretty revolutionary because most of the previous tools that we used, like RVC, they require at least a few minutes of audio to train a voice, but here it just requires a few seconds of audio and it can clone the voice from that sample, which is pretty crazy. All right, so I'm going to use this 8-second clip of this American female. Let me play this for you.
Hi there. Need a smart, confident, friendly young adult voice? I'm ready and willing. So let's get started and get your audience absolutely hooked.
All right, and that's pretty much it. For the text to generate, I'm going to paste this line, which I just generated with ChatGPT. I'm going to select F5 first. I'm also going to show you E2 in a second, but let's just do F5 and then let's click synthesize. So because this is only dealing with audio, it's actually pretty quick. You don't need any high-end hardware to make this work. Like you can get it to work with probably 8 gigabytes of VRAM. All right, so you can see there it only took like 30 seconds to generate. Now let me play this for you.
You know, it's funny how we spend so much time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at me right now. I came here thinking I'd find clarity among the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Instead, I'm struck by this overwhelming sense of uncertainty. And that's okay? Isn't it? There's a certain beauty in not knowing what comes next.
Alright, so that's pretty good, and it even gives you a spectrogram. And to download it, you can click on this button. Alright, so down here you can either choose the F5 TTS, which is the AI that we're featuring today, or this E2 TTS, which is another text-to-speech model by Microsoft. Now note that this newer one, F5, has some significant improvements over E2. So F5 has, in theory, better quality. So they claim that it has fewer artifacts and it clones the voice more accurately. However, you could play around with both of these to see which one you prefer. So right now I'm using E2. I'm going to click synthesize so you can hear the difference. And notice the time up here. So right now it's taking like 19, 20, 21 seconds. This is pretty quick. So yeah, that only took like around 20 something seconds. Let's hear what this sounds like.
You know, it's funny how we spend so much time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at me right now. I came here thinking I'd find clarity among the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Instead, I'm struck by this overwhelming sense of uncertainty. And that's okay, isn't it? There's a certain beauty in not knowing what comes next.
So you can hear with E2 the voice kind of sounds a bit more robotic and less natural, but the difference is quite subtle. And I'm very impressed by both of these AI models, how it's able to take just 8 seconds of a sample audio and clone the voice in 20 seconds. That's pretty insane. Anyways, let's click this to download, and then we'll move back to F5 for now. There are also some advanced settings which I want to go over. So here is the reference text, or basically the transcript of this audio clip. So if we play this.
Hi there, need a smart, confident, friendly young adult voice?
So, for example, if this is what she says, you can actually type in the transcript here. Hi there, need a smart, etc., etc., etc. And so if you know the transcript already and you paste it in here, that just saves it more time. It doesn't need to auto-generate the transcript, and it provides it with more accuracy. But usually I just leave this blank because I don't have the transcript, and it would just auto-transcribe this audio sample for me first. And then here there's also a toggle to remove the silence, which basically helps remove silences in your generation. Let's leave this off. And then for the speed, you can actually adjust the speed of the audio. So let's make this super slow, like 0.5, and let's click synthesize and see what that sounds like. You can see here, because no reference text is provided, it's automatically transcribing the reference audio because we left this blank. Alright, so right now it's like 25, 26, 27, 29 seconds. Alright, so now you can see there are a lot more pauses in this audio because we've unselected this box. Plus, it's a lot longer. This is 35 seconds because we've decreased the speed by half. So let me collapse this so you can follow along with the text here, and let me click play.
You know, it's funny how we spend so much time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at here, thin me, right now. I came thinking I'd find clarity and among the rustling leaves. Instead, by the suck kitty. Isn't it? There's a certain beauty in not knowing what comes next. Instead, and them sting leaves and chirping birds and certainty.
So that was a horrible generation. Obviously, it was hallucinating there. And that's probably because we've turned this off, plus we've made this half speed, and it really throws it off. So instead, let me turn this back on. And now instead of half speed, I'm going to make her talk 2 times faster. Let's click synthesize and see what that gives us. All right, you can see here there are relatively fewer pauses or moments of silence in this clip because we've checked this box. Let me again collapse this so you can follow along with the text here, and let me click play.
You know, it's funny how we spend time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at me right now. I came here thinking I'd find clarity among the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Instead, I'm struck by this overwhelming sense of uncertainty. That's okay, there's a certain beauty in knowing what comes next.
All right, indeed, that is super fast. So there you go. You can adjust the speed of this, you can adjust the amount of pauses in the audio, and this is all from just 8 seconds of a reference audio. Super impressive. All right, next I'm going to set this back at 1 speed, and let's test out another voice. So I'm going to remove this voice, I'm going to upload this male voice, and this is only 5 seconds of audio. Let me play this for you.
I expect nothing but excellence from this team. Let's set the bar high and exceed it.
Okay, and then same script as before. Let's click synthesize. All right, and here's what we get.
You know, it's funny how we spend so much time trying to predict the future. I mean, look at me right now. I came here thinking I'd find clarity among the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Instead, I'm struck by this overwhelming sense of uncertainty. And that's okay, isn't it? There's a certain beauty in not knowing what comes next.
How realistic is that? Again, I'm just constantly mind blown how it just takes 5 seconds of someone's voice and you could clone their voice and make them say whatever you want. What a crazy time we live in right now. Alright, well, you might be wondering, what about adding emotions to the voice, which I showed at the start of the video? Well, there's another tab up here called Multi-Style, and here is where you can add in different samples of someone's voice with different emotions, and then you can make them speak whatever you want while controlling their emotions. So I'll show you how this works. First of all, I'm going to upload a few samples of someone's voice. So the default one is just called regular. This one is mandatory. For this, I'm just uploading a happy, normal voice. Let me play this for you.
When people are happy, usually their voices go up a little in pitch, even if you're just using your own voice, and you may even talk a little faster. But this is still no faster than my usual non-acting conversation speed.
Pretty normal, neutral emotion. And then for the text, you can either paste in the transcript here or leave it empty, and it would automatically transcribe it for you. So for me, I'm just going to leave this empty. And then next, we need to add more clips here of different emotions of this person's voice. So let's click Add Speech Type, and this is the emotion you want to specify. And I believe this is case sensitive, so let's just leave it all lowercase, and then let's upload another audio. So this is a sad audio clip. Let me play this for you.
If you want to sound sad, try talking softly, but clearly and slowly, with emphasis on every few words for a truly emo heartbreak. Or a bit more deadpan for a more subtle, depressed sounding effect.
So a really depressed sounding voice. Let's add another one. Now let's add angry. And then I'm going to upload an angry sample of this person's voice. And let me play this for you.
On the other hand, when someone gets angry, their voice tends to lower in pitch as well as getting somewhat louder, but not necessarily yelling, just project.
Okay, so we have 3 emotions now, happy, sad, angry. You can add more if you want, obviously, but let's just go with these 3. And then at the bottom here is the text to generate. I'm going to paste in some random text that I generated with ChatGPT, and note that each line is preceded with an emotion in parentheses. So this regular one is referring to this regular emotion, which is the default. This is just a happy, neutral tone. And then this sad one is referring to this sad speech. So it's going to try to read this line based on this sad tone. And then finally, it's going to try to read this line in an angry tone, which we set up here. And then again, you can choose from either F5 or E2. I prefer F5 because it's slightly higher quality. And then in advanced settings, you also have the option to remove silences, which we will leave on. And that's pretty much it. Let's click Generate Emotional Speech. And note that here it says no reference text provided, transcribing reference audio. So again, we don't have to add in the transcript of these audio samples over here. It would automatically transcribe it for us. All right, so notice the timer here, 36, 37, 38. So it took around 38, 39 seconds. Pretty quick. Let me collapse this so you can see the text here as I play this. So let me play this and you can see how it reads this text, but using these different emotions.
I can hardly believe it. We finally won the championship. But then I remember it's bittersweet without Dad here to celebrate with us. Why did he have to leave so suddenly? It's just not fair.
Perfect. So you can see how for the sad part, it read this line in a sad tone, which is very similar to our uploaded audio. And same with the angry tone. All right, let's try another example. So I'm going to get rid of these. Let's upload a male voice. So here's the happy neutral tone.
Can we just get on with it already? My body's starting to take a toll.
Okay, that's like a happy tone. I think he's being tickled or something. Here's a sad tone.
Can we just get on with it already? My body is starting to take a toll.
All right, next one, let's do scared. And let me upload a scared audio sample of this guy. And let me play this for you.
Hey, can we get on with this already? My body's starting to take a toll.
Okay, and let's add a fourth one. And this will be tired. And let me drop in the audio for this and play this for you.
Can we get on with it already? My body's starting to take a toll.
Okay, and then for the text to generate, let me paste in this script with all 4 emotions. We have regular, sad, scared, and tired. And then let's, again, just choose F5 and click generate. All right, here's what we get.
I finally finished my novel, and I can't wait to share it with everyone. But as I look at the empty chair where my writing partner used to sit, I feel a pang of loss. What if no one likes it? What if all this effort was for nothing? After countless late nights, I'm exhausted, but I know it's worth it to chase my dreams.
How cool is that? It totally matched these emotions based on just a few seconds of audio of someone's voice. This is such a powerful tool. So let me save this first. All right, let me show you something even cooler, which is this podcast feature. So there's this podcast tab up here. Here is where you can enter in 2 different speakers as the podcast host. So for example, speaker 1, let's call him Bob, which is like the most generic name ever, by the way. And then for the reference audio, let's do that male voice again. Let me play this for you.
I expect nothing but excellence from this team. Let's set the bar high and exceed it.
And then reference text is basically the transcript of this audio. Again, we can leave this blank and it would auto-transcribe it for us. And then for speaker name number 2, let's just call her Anna. And then again, I'm going to upload the female voice that we used before. And let me play the reference for you.
Hi there. Need a smart, confident, friendly young adult voice? I'm ready and willing. So let's get started and get your audience absolutely hooked.
So again, for the reference, this is just the transcript of this audio sample, and we can leave this blank. And then for the podcast script, let me paste in something generic here. And how this works is basically you just precede every line with the speaker's name. So in our case, Bob is going to read this line, and then Anna is going to read this line, and so on and so forth. Pretty simple to use. And again, we have these settings where you can choose F5 or E2 and remove silences. So I'm going to click Generate Podcast and see what that gives us. Okay, and here's what we get.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I just got back from an amazing trip, and I'm feeling so happy.
That's great, Bob. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit sad today. I missed out on the fun.
I totally get that, Anna. It's scary to think about missing out on experiences.
Right? And honestly, I'm just tired of feeling this way. Let's dive into today's topic and shake off those blues.
Not bad, not bad. Let's try to test out its limits. So let's see if it can actually generate a British accent as well. I'm going to get rid of this. And now for Bob, let's upload a British voice. So here we have a British male voice.
There is an art, the Hitchhiker's Guide says, or rather a knack to flying. It lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss.
And then same thing for the female voice. We're going to upload a British female voice. And here's what that sounds like.
Hello. This voiceover is an AI replicate of professional voiceovers used in corporate explainer and training videos.
All right, so 2 British voices. I'm going to use the same podcast script. I'm going to keep all these settings the same. Let's click generate and see what that gives us. All right, let's click play.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I just got back from an amazing trip, and I'm feeling so happy.
That's great, Bob. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit sad today. I missed out on the fun.
I totally get that, Anna. It's scary to think about missing out on experiences.
Right? And honestly, I'm just tired of feeling this way. Let's dive into today's topic and shake off those blues.
Pretty cool. So it can also do British accents, or basically clone whatever accent you have in your audio clip onto the generation. Very cool, very cool. Alright, finally, I want to go over some of its limitations. So, note that this can currently only handle English and Chinese, or a mixture of both of those languages in one sentence. So let's go back to this simple text-to-speech tab. Then let me get rid of this and upload a new voice. I'm going to use this one again.
Hi there! Need a smart, confident, friendly young adult voice? I'm ready and willing. So let's get started and get your audience absolutely hooked.
Alright, and then for the text, let's type in some Chinese and see if she can read that. And then let's click synthesize. Alright, let's play this and see if it works.
在这个繁忙的城市里，人们总是匆匆忙忙地赶着上班，但偶尔也会停下脚步欣赏路边盛开的樱花，感受生活中的美好。
Perfect, so you can see even with an American English voice like this,
Hi there! Need a smart, confident, friendly young...
You can get her to speak Chinese if you wanted to. How cool is that? Now, again, this only works for Chinese. Next, let's paste in some Spanish text and see if she can actually say this correctly. Alright, let's see what this gives us.
El sol brillaba intensamente sobre las olas del océano, mientras las niñas construyen castillos de arena en la playa y sus padres disfrutaban de un picnic bajo una sombrilla colorida.
Oh, that was hilarious. This just sounds like some American reading this literally. It's not Spanish at all. For all the Spanish viewers out there, sorry for ruining your ears right now. Anyways, let's also test Japanese and see if this works. I would expect this not to work because, again, right now it only supports English and Chinese. Alright, let's play this.
日本歌trim free lam美to the hill.
Yeah, this is absolutely awful. It's not actually speaking the Japanese. So that's it. That's the limitation of this. But other than that, I mean, this is a super powerful tool. You can just use this to generate a podcast. Just paste in the entire script here, and it will generate a podcast with 2 hosts. Or you can upload multiple emotions of a voice and then specify the emotions here. So this is a super powerful and versatile tool. Anyways, that sums up my video on F5 TTS. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. What other cool things were you able to generate with this? And if you have any trouble installing this locally, also let me know in the comments below and I will try to help you troubleshoot as much as possible. As always, I will be on the lookout for the top AI news and tools to share with you. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, there's just so much happening in the world of AI every week. I can't possibly cover everything on my YouTube channel, so to really stay up to date with all that's going on in AI, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link to that will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.